Hello, Holy Apostles. Father Jim Barron, thanks for tuning into this Fireside. I know it's been a while. We're going to try to make these a bit more frequent, but it's been a busy fall, and we are already in December. And before you know it, we will be at Christmas. But of course, as Catholics, we take these weeks leading up to Christmas to intentionally focus in the season of Advent on preparing to celebrate Christmas, preparing our lives and our hearts to celebrate the first coming of Jesus, but also for the second coming of Jesus. And as the Lord comes to us every day in grace, in the sacraments, we want to be ready and to be able to receive him. One of the best ways we can do this is by embracing silence. Silence is a great gift of Advent, especially because that's where the Lord came to us, in the silence of the night. And that's how he still comes to us. The world is sort of full of noise, and it's good to tune out as much as we can, to kind of turn the volume down. And this, again, is a great way to use these weeks of Advent to prepare, to make time for silence. But that sort of pastoral note is also a lifelong advice for doing important things for us as Christians. Not only prayer, we need silence for prayer, but it's also a great way to focus on vocations. And that's where I'm going to pivot to this weekend. We are celebrating our Stewardship of Vocations. This is an important exercise of every Catholic parish to foster young men and young women in our parish to respond faithfully to whatever vocation God calls them to. Most of our parishioners have responded to the vocation of marriage, and this is an authentic vocation that needs a lot of preparation through our lifetimes and our support as parishioners. So for those who are striving to live happy and healthy and holy marriages, please know of my prayers and support for you as one who has willingly given up marriage and family to support your marriages and your families. But we also need religious vocations. God is calling young men and young women to follow him in a very unique way through religious life and through the priesthood. And in a special way, as a priest, I appeal to the young men of our parish to please do prayerfully consider whether or not God is calling you to follow him in this way. We want to support vocations because they are necessary in the life of the church to witness to what we are called to in eternity. That's one of the great gifts of religious vocations, brothers and sisters, nuns, consecrated men and women, to show us what it looks like to live the heavenly vocation here and now. We also need priests. And that point is driven home not just because I need another priest at the parish. There's a lot to do. But also just the life of the church depends on the ministry of priests, especially with the Eucharist and the sacrament of reconciliation and anointing. These are important ways that priests serve, and we have a responsibility as the church to foster vocation. So please pray for vocations first and foremost, but then also encourage members of your own family to prayerfully consider if God is calling them to this. We'll address it a little bit more at Masses this weekend, but every parish really has a responsibility to pray for priests. As I said at the State of the Parish, whenever you find yourself sort of frustrated not being able to get a quicker appointment with a priest, pray for vocations. Whenever you sort of look at me haggard and distressed and worn out because of all the responsibilities, pray for me, but pray for vocations. As they say, if you want to eat next year, you have to plant crops today. If we want our children and grandchildren to be able to have priests bring them the sacraments, we have that responsibility to support and promote vocations in our own lifetimes. So please do that, especially this weekend with our Stewardship of Vocations focus. This coming weekend is also our first Sunday effort put on by the parish council and select ministries and apostolates in the parish to have a time of fellowship with coffee and donuts and cookies and cider after all the Masses. We'll be featuring St. Vincent de Paul Society and the great work that they do, so please check them out after Masses at our first Sunday celebration this weekend. This coming Friday, we're also going to be doing our first of 3 solemn Vespers for Advent. We started this a few years ago, and it was very well received. It's a wonderful time to capitalize on the liturgical life of the Church's prayer and enter into that reflective, meditative, kind of quiet prayer. We will be doing this at 6 o'clock this Friday and for the next 2 following Fridays to celebrate Advent in this beautiful, prayerful way. Next Wednesday is the Immaculate Conception. This is a great solemnity in the life of the Church here in America. North America is dedicated to the patronage of the Immaculate Conception. This is for us a holy day of obligation, and we'll be offering masses on Tuesday for the Vigil Mass at 6 p.m., at 8 a.m. our normal daily Mass time on Wednesday morning, and then again at 6 p.m. on Wednesday for those folks who are able to come after work. But again, this is as a holy day of obligation and an important moment to stop the rest of our lives and come to worship God together and to celebrate the gift that is our Blessed Mother and the work of God's grace at work in her. So that's again this coming Wednesday. Looking ahead to our Christmas schedule, please make sure to check the bulletin, check the website, look at the different ways we are advertising it around the church. Christmas is on a Saturday this year, which means that Christmas Eve schedules are going to be on that Friday. We'll have our normal 4 p.m. family Mass, 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Masses on Christmas Eve, and then one Christmas Day Mass at 10 a.m. Because it's a Saturday, we would normally have an evening Mass as the anticipatory Mass for Sunday. But because it's Christmas Day, we aren't going to have it just this year. So if you're normally a Saturday evening Mass goer, there won't be one on Christmas Day. We will have our normal Sunday 7, 9, and noon Mass schedule. Don't worry, you're going to be told this a couple more times between now and Christmas, but please be aware, on Christmas Day, there will only be one 10 a.m. Mass for Christmas, no evening Mass for the Sunday, but then our normal Sunday morning Masses. So you've been forewarned, and you will be forewarned in the weeks ahead. But please feel free to share the news, especially to friends who don't watch these fireside chats or who don't necessarily get our flock note updates and notifications. We will also be having an ongoing schedule change with confessions. Confessions up for the last number of months have been every day, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. through 7:50. There have been increased attendance to those confession dates on Thursdays and Fridays, hit or miss Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So here's the change. We're going to be moving starting next week to only confessions on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning, 7 a.m. to 7:50. So there won't be daily confessions anymore on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Again, please check the bulletin. All of this is in there, and it'll help keep us straight. Surely there will be folks who may not see this or may not read the bulletin, but please help your friends to be aware of these changes that will be effective starting next week. We're still advertising for help with our nursery especially. We are looking for some staff or new hires to help on an on-call basis throughout the week to help watch our little kiddos in our nursery. This helps our faith formation programs, our instructors, and other families to be able to help manage their kids and make these faith formation sessions available. If you are interested in applying, please see our website or contact the office. We'll get you the application and help process that. But again, please, if you can consider helping out with nursery, we're really looking for help Sunday mornings, Monday evenings, Wednesday mornings and evenings. And again, check out the website or contact the parish office for more information with that. And finally, as you've probably heard, our Supreme Court is considering cases challenging the Roe versus Wade decision from years ago, which is basically trying to establish that there is a constitutional right to abortion. And legally speaking, constitutional speaking, no, there is not. This is something that we pray for every year, especially in January, but that the unborn might have legal protection. They deserve it. It's consistent with our legal system, and it's something that we as Catholics have to witness to. We are putting in great measures to help crisis pregnancies and single mothers in these circumstances. So on the cultural side, they need never consider abortion as an option in their lives. But we also need to legally protect the unborn. Now, there are some well-intended folks who misunderstand the idea, and they'll say, well, we don't want to necessarily make this illegal, but we want to change the culture from the inside out and then make abortion unthinkable. Yes, we need to do that, but there's also a need to legally protect the unborn. Now, there are other analogies to this. For example, laws against racial discrimination are necessary. It's not just important to try to effect a change of heart in the culture, which we also have to do. There should be legal protections against discrimination in this way. And just so, we have to change the culture where abortion isn't even thinkable, but we also need legal protections. We have legal protections against murder because, unfortunately, although, we want to make sure nobody wants to murder, sometimes people do. And this is something that it applies also to this question about the legal and constitutional protection for the unborn. Yes, change the culture. Yes, make sure we have every provision in place to try to help women who are in crisis pregnancies, and also at the same time affect legal protection, constitutional recognition for these unborn young men and women. So please pray for the Supreme Court, for their protection, especially spiritual protection, because the evil one is very interested in continuing the sacrifice of the unborn. And this we cannot stand this. We cannot allow this to happen. And to pray for this change in our country, the cultural change, but also the legal change. Big things are afoot, and things that might really help positively impact the shape of our culture and our community, particularly through how the Constitution is recognized. So pray for our Supreme Court, pray for the cause of life, and pray for all those who are otherwise considering ending the unborn life of their child, that they might have that change of heart and find ready resources from Christians especially to help them to choose life. So lots of stuff that I've thrown at you. As always, check the bulletin, check the website. Thank you for all of you folks who have been praying for me. That has been such a grace and a gift. You know how in demand priests are, and being the only priest at Holy Apostles, it can certainly be stressful and demanding, but I have known and felt your prayers and just your kindness and your support. So thank you for that. It really does make a big difference, and I'm grateful for that. As we enter this Advent, know of my ongoing prayers for us as a parish and for all of our families, especially those who are suffering in any way during these weeks. I think there's a special way to enter into Advent for those families and those parishioners, and know how close I am to you in my prayers and as your pastor. God bless you, and have a great weekend. Thank you for joining in. Bye-bye.